Hello, friends. Are you feeling how the expansion that's happening around us, inside, outside? Are you feeling how you keep running up against resistance, even though you really want to expand, you want to let it all go, you want to embody your true nature and be part of this whole new frequency that's coming in and which we are becoming consciously because we already are it. But as you know, we have all these layers of contraction and resistance around it. So I was just thinking today because this is very much my process, and for some reason it seems like I have a certain way, gift, whatever, to really be present with what is happening, and that's why it's easy for me to share it with you, and it's easy to me to help my clients go through it because for some reason it's just very there. And that may just be one of the openings that I have in this unfolding that I can share with you. But I remember many years ago when I wrote my book called Imagine Being Kind to Yourself, which you can see in the description below if you're interested. That was in 2009, I think. I could see that we all have this immense amount of resistance that is just there, right? It's holding us in, that is keeping us small and contracted. And as I shared in that book, as we start on this conscious awakening, and as and as we become aware of where we have not been shining our light, let's say, you meet resistance upon resistance upon resistance. And what I talked about in my book was to meet this resistance head on with love, with curiosity. And there is no way around the resistance because the reason we are not experiencing ourselves as who we already are is because we have this fear contraction, holding in, not allowing out, right? This is resistance. So there are so many layers of resistance because every time we meet the next layer, there is resistance. So we will meet resistance and resistance and resistance. It doesn't mean that you are resisting. I think there's an important distinction here. You know in yourself that you're willing, right? So you go willingly and then you feel a resistance. But it's not you. This is the old you, we can say, the old false sense of self, the resistance that has been laying there in these layers, holding you back from actually being present with what this resistance is resisting. Does that sound crazy? It kind of is crazy, but as I see that, as I've been going through this myself for many years, once you realize that you will meet resistance, and this resistance can show up in so many ways. I talked the other day about the inner rebel. That's resistance, right? Or the saboteur. That's resistance, right? The fear that you don't want to or don't know how to meet. That's resistance. So there is constantly is like, no, no, I don't want to go there. No, I don't want to go there. No, I don't want to go there. And these are all these layers that we have lived underneath and not been willing to meet because of the resistance, right? So, if that makes sense to you, I want to invite you to just take a deep breath right now, even if it doesn't make sense to you. and just acknowledge how we have been living under these layers of resistance that literally have prevented us from waking up to who we are, from living the life that we long for, that our heart keeps inviting us to express and feel and become. All of it has to move through resistance. And I think, as I talked about in my book, I mean, this is many years ago, I wrote it in 2009, I think. When you realize that you will meet resistance, then you can see it for what it is, just like with any part of us that is unconscious. When you know you're going to meet resistance and know that it is not you resistance, but it will feel like it because you have to feel your way through it. But I'd rather invite you to feel your way through it than resist the resistance or make a story out of the resistance. See, maybe I don't really want it or I can never do it. And all that stuff. It's like, no, you are going to meet resistance. And this resistance is made of fear. Always comes down to fear. All these layers are fear, and we don't want to feel it because it's scary. We don't know what's going to happen. We think we can't do it, right? All these fear prompts, fear suggestions. They keep us small and contracted and dense. But now here we are, right? This energy is coming in. We can feel it. We start maybe feeling our heart opening, but it's like, oh no, that hurts. I'm just not going to go there. Resistance, fear. Can you recognize it? So, what if we just told ourselves right now, okay, I'm willing to move through these layers. I know I'm going to meet resistance. It doesn't mean anything other than it's the old programming that has held itself in place for me to not realize who I am, right? Programming from the false matrix. But now that I can see that that's actually what it is, and if I check in with myself, I really, really want to be free. I don't want to let this fear, resistance, rebel, saboteur run my life anymore. So you just see it for what it is, right? You go, okay, I want to feel peace. No, it's not safe to feel peace. Resistance, resistance, fear, fear. You go, oh, there it is. There's fear. There's the resistance in whatever shape or form or suggestion it comes. Go, oh, that's where it is. Take a deep breath. Just notice it for now. Just notice it. You don't need to do anything with it. Nothing. You don't need to resist it. You don't need to believe it. You don't even need to engage in it. You just stay with like, no, I want to expand, or I want to feel peace, or I want to feel loved. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. It's whatever you want, what your heart tells you you want. That's where we're going. So you can start becoming fully you. And that's what's happening. We have always been fully who we are, but we didn't know it because we were putting our attention on all the layers of fear and resistance and misidentification and the belief or feeling that we were separate from who we truly are. And it's been so believable that we didn't know what to do. So we just go like, nope, nope, don't want to go there. Resistance. So now you have another little clue, another little carrot maybe to follow. The carrot is your longing. And you go like, when you see you're resisting, like, okay, Let me just stay here because the resistance is very tricky. It's going to prevent you from going where you want to go, from becoming who and what you already are, but make it conscious. So its job, resistance job is to resist, right? And the more you resist against it, the more it will resist. That's why you get that rebellion inside of yourself. Like you go like, I want to, like, no, I don't want to. And this one usually wins until you can see it for what it is. So now we're going to make resistance your friend. How's that? So when you realize you're resisting, you can say, take a deep breath first, and you say, oh, there you are. I see you now. Let's just breathe here together. And the resistant may be totally surprised, right? Totally taken by surprise. Like, what? You're supposed to resist me because that's where I get my power from. And you go, yeah, I know, but let's just breathe here together. So you're kind of befriended, and that takes out the energy to keep it alive that it gets from you resisting it. Am I making sense out of all of this? It makes sense to me because I'm in a deepening. I've been in this process for years, but there's such a subtlety right now to the resistance to being fully who I am, which and just being present with the suggestions, which are not very strong, but they're very tricky. They're kind of like, oh, I see you. Okay, no, I'm not interested. I really want to expand, if that's the word we can use. And then it gets easier and easier to stay with my true essence, with my light, with my expansion, with my peace, my presence. And then this just melts. And I really experience that there is a lot less pressure from that resistance, the fear, the old identities. No, not anymore. I'm not going to fight you anymore. I'm not going to resist you anymore. I'm not going to believe you anymore. I'm not going to engage with you anymore. I'm not going to argue with you anymore. But you see, as you move through these layers, you can't help doing what I just said I didn't want to do. You can't help it because that is the layer you go through. There might you be an arguing layer, a battling layer, a resistant layer. So as you move through them, if you can start recognizing them for what they are, and then take a nice deep breath. And then find out what is it that you really want, right? That deep breath creates a little bit of a distance or a gap between it. And now you create some space where you can make a conscious choice instead of automatically be pulled into whatever that layer is all about, right? Resistance, fear, rebellion, uh, hate, judgment, whatever it is. When you're in it, it's like you're doing it, but you don't want to do it, but you can't help doing it. It sounds like I'm speaking, nonsense. It's actually very real when you're in there. So if I can just invite you today to start recognizing that it's a layer of something you're going through. And if it is resistance, don't believe it. Just feel it. Just breathe into it. Create the gap. See it for what it is. Even if you just do that, you're making leaps and bounds. So please give that a try. And if you feel moved, comment below. I'd love to hear how that works for you, if it resonates, if it helps you. And of course, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and keep coming back. Keep helping this channel grow. It needs to grow to reach more people. It will only grow through you I'm doing everything I can with all the algorithms, but I don't want to lose my authenticity in that. And that's why I just have to kind of serve my own wave, my own truth, and see where it takes me without getting off the wave and buying into what the false matrix wants me to do, whatever, of things that are not authentic to me. So that's kind of learning for me to keep being in my authenticity and learn to use things that are helpful, but are not pulling me out of my true, authentic flow. So that's why I'd rather ask you for your help to help spread the word that there is a way we can get out of this false matrix, not in one big swoop, but by just staying here and being that sharp sword that's just cutting through one layer at a time, like that. Okay, I'll see you again soon.